I am sincerely hoping that all is well, no technical gremlins tonight. I have actually remembered this time to bring my router from home, so we're using Wi Fi, although it's mobile Wi Fi. And I just thought I would, well, I haven't actually set anything up yet, but obviously I'm just coming to the end of making a batch, a giggle of wee Christmas pudding sugar mice. I'm just taking a break um, from the Christmas mice. Making good progress. We'll be able to get them all posted out in time for Christmas because I've only got ones to go out from the UK now, and of course Christmas isn't till next Friday, so plenty of time. She said, hopefully. So I'm going to. This is me just. I'm just finishing off, and I would like to get your opinion on what I should do tonight because I'm not entirely sure. There's so many possibilities. I thought about doing maybe a wee Christmas otter because I haven't made any Christmas creatures like the wee Christmas mice, and they're so cute with their little books. That's one of the little books that is just waiting to be handed to a mouse or a wee creature. Indeed, we shall see. I've got my phone up um, in front of me, and hopefully I'll be able to see if I'm live or not. And hopefully I'll be able to keep track of some comments if there are any comments made. But I would appreciate any suggestions. Obviously, not much time for making. This is me cutting off their tails with a carving knife. That's a bit. It's always struck me as being a bit grim, that fairy tale. The three blind mice. See how they run. Oh, I can't remember the rest of it. I'm sure somebody will come up with what the full one of it, and it reminds me. Sorry, the full. What's it called? The full nursery rhyme. It's a nursery rhyme, of course. Three blind mice, see how they run. They cut off his tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a thing in your life as three blind mice? I think that's how it goes. Can't remember exactly, but basically it's all a bit grim. And um, I was, I have actually made three blind mice and a little cat, farmer's wife. That was years ago, gosh, but it was quite good fun. I seem to remember. I must dig out the photo for that because yeah, it was like three little mice tapping around with dark glasses and canes around, and then there really was a cat with a carving knife and a little hat. Anyway, gosh, right. I've no idea if anybody's actually joined me. I realise that I hadn't provided. Oh, we've got. I've actually made. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't. Oh dear, I can't see comments because if I see comments, then I will hear myself as I'm speaking, which will probably, I don't know, cause a black hole and a rift in the time-space continuum or something like that. So I won't be able to see comments unless I scoot over to my desk, and instead of helpful tips from Facebook telling me to hey, why don't you create another event? It's like, hey, Facebook, why don't I finish this one first of all before you give me your helpful tips? Anyway, I'm just having a quick look at the comments now. Oh, brilliant. We've got lots tonight. Brilliant. So Dawn's here. Hello, Dawn. And Lorna's here. Lorna, a very interesting package arrived today. I must drop you a line about that. Thank you. Dawn wants a badger. Melanie, the line is the sugar pudding mice. Love the line of the sugar. And Pamela's here as well. Hello, Pamela. Oh dear, it keeps freezing. Does it? Is it still freezing? It looks as though the stream metrics. Apparently, I can get stream metrics. Would you believe? I don't quite know what that means. I presume it's not a water stream, but it looks as though it dipped out for a little bit, and that might be why it froze. But fingers crossed, the stream has not frozen, and we can carry on. Fingers crossed. You know me. I think the gremlins. I think I might be a gremlin goddess or a queen of the gremlins because they just seem to follow me wherever I go. Um, yes. So tails. Gosh. Oh wow. I really got into the Blethers straight away with that little fairy tale story. Right. So this is the thing. I think I've said before, I used to think I could multitask, but I really can't. So last tale to go on, and then you will have my, I was going to say undivided attention, but probably not. But, for the best of intentions and all that, for the best of reasons. Oh my word. Anyway, gosh, it's been full on actually. This last few weeks, I posted off. There we go. That's them all. Aren't they cute? I do like them when they're all lined up together. I've been working on them all afternoon basically since I came back from the post office because, you know, production line is definitely the way to go with the mice. Now it's very strange because I'm looking at the live video, which I presume that is what you can all see, and I'm still putting on tails, but I finished doing that about a minute ago. So who knows? Right, I'm just putting them up onto the baking tray now, and then I'll put them in the oven tomorrow to cure. And then at some point, I must get them all into the shop. The great thing about the sugar mice is that they're much easier and quicker and cheaper to pack than the usual wee creatures because I can send them as large letters instead of small parcels. So that's why it makes it much quicker, much easier. And I must confess, I must confess. So I have made some more of the snowflake mice as well, including, you get to see it first here. And let's see that. When it comes up on the screen, this is a little lilac one. Now, you won't be able to see it very well, I'm afraid, but it's so cute. So actually, I am going to have one each of, there we go, pale blue, dark blue, lilac, and pink. And also, this was a bit of an experiment. I'm not sure how it'll work out, but these are glitter white mice that I have put coloured snowflakes on because they're really, they're wonderful. They're nail art stickers. I don't know whether I've explained that or not, but they're perfect for the sugar mice, and they stick really well, long lasting, and yeah. So basically, we've got glitter white with silver, and he's got silver highlights with silver tail, nose, and inner ears, blue, pink, and black. So I'll post pictures tomorrow, but basically it's just been, do you know what I've really enjoyed doing has been just in between batches of the Christmas mice, I've just been making some of the sugar mice, and I've just been having a lot of fun with them. Oh, I'm a bit in love with them, I have to say. I'm a bit in love with them. So so there'll be lots. I've got 3 of each of these of the coloured snowflake mice, or snowy mice, I think I've called them, because they don't all have snowflakes, and there's just one of each of these because this was a bit of an experiment. Anyway, so here I am, just blethering away as usual, and I'm just nipping back to have a look at the comments. We've got a few more comments. Excellent. Amberie's on the call as well. Excellent. And Lorna, thank you. I will. Right. I haven't even opened the parcel because I must get in touch with you first of all. Right. I think I dropped out again as well for a little bit, but hopefully it's going to be up and running now anyway. So, what shall I do? Actually, okay, this is a bit random. You know how I made the millefiori cane the other whenever it was, a couple of weeks ago. Well, I've been looking at a couple of more what's the word, techniques, and there's one which I quite fancy now. So I've no idea where this is going, okay? We'll just have to give it a go. This was the dag end of a striped millefiori cane that I used to make a couple of barrister mice that are on their way to Canada as we speak at the moment. Occasionally, I've had time to take on the occasional commission request, and this chap just caught me. He's a barrister himself, and he just caught me and gave me a bit of I remember my former profession. Anyway, so I'm just using, gosh, right. So I'm basically going to create 3 strips of scrap clay, basically. As I say, I've never done this before, so I've no idea what it's going to turn out like. But I've been so keen on giving it a go. So basically, I'm just lining up. The key to this apparently is to make sure that it's all um, that it's contrasting clay that I use. So this is going to be the first strip of clay. Now, also I'm making it much smaller scale than the tutorial that I got recommends. I found a wonderful shop on Etsy that does the most amazing tutorials. So let's see how it goes. Sorry if anybody has suggested anything different, but I can't read the comments unless I bugger off. Sorry, I didn't mean bugger off. Unless I pop over and read your comments, which I can do every now and again, but then would it not be better for us just to keep chatting, and I can keep chatting at you. So basically that's very, very loosely into one strip. I mean, you can see it's just scrap clay. It's not very, it's not very good. So I'm going to just put it through on a fairly thin setting to begin with. There we go. Oh, it's not very good. Right, I'll just fold it over again. Bring it down, because it doesn't have to. I'm not preserving the stripes, because by the time I've mashed it up into a cane, once I make the cane that I'm hoping to make. Let's see how it goes. So actually I'll fold it over a bit and give it a bit of a, there we go. And yeah, right, let's see what happens when I do it this time. Right, that's a bit better. Okay, so totally scrap clay. That'll do. In fact, I'm going to make it just a little bit thinner. I'll put it on, that makes it a bit longer as well. So that's going to be one of the outer layers. The inner layer, I thought I would just make up lots of the, this is just scrap clay from the mice that I've been making, the sugar mice. This is clay made out of, it's a translucent clay or glitter clay, basically. So again, I just drop some on the floor, which is really useful. So again, I'm just roughly, it really is just scrap clay. I'm so curious about this technique, because if it works, I mean, the end results are stunning. I'll show you, well, hopefully this will be stunning enough that you'll be really impressed and you'll be like, ooh, that looks amazing. But for now, let's see. So this, right, it's just, again, it's so rough and ready. You know me, and this is how I like to work with millefiori canes. The tutorial was everything was neatly laid out and neatly organised. It's like, nah, I can't be bothered with that. Right, so what I'm going to do, it's just thick tubes, not tubes, logs, that's the word, logs, right, okay. So what I need to do is to have it as long as that. So I will first of all roll it through the pasta machine on the thickest setting. Right, you see how that's kind of squished it out a bit sideways. It's messy, but that's okay. And then I will roll it through, I'll put it thinner. There we go. See, it's so pretty, it's so pretty. Right, and actually I'm going to fold it in half, because that will start actually the blending process as well. Bit of a very rough and ready Skinner blend, if you like, because it's sort of blending the colours in together. So I'm going to make this a bit thicker now. In fact, yeah, one more through. Okay, so that's about twice as thick as that layer. Okay, let's give it a go. In fact, does that need to be more? See, I'm really, this is totally on the hoof stuff. How cool is that? I quite like on the hoof stuff. Right, let's now I don't think they need to be, I don't need to have that matching the outside. It just needs to be contrasting with that. So what contrasting color? I think I'll just do a plain black one, because I've got some scrap black clay here. So I shall just roughly roll this out. Might need a bit more. It'll do for now. Right, it'll be very interesting to see how this goes, I have to say. Right, and I shall just make that a very thin layer again. Yeah, I could do with a little bit more, but no, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. So basically, I now need to just actually, will I? Do I have any more? There's a few more scraps. Do you know the amount of just dead clay that I have sitting around? It does mean that I work in a space which is tiny, really. I mean, I work in about sort of 6 inches square, because I don't like putting away clay or accessories or tools just in case I'm going to need them. Right, but anyway, so that's me just picked up a bit of extra black clay that I've had lying around. That's me out of black clay on my workbench anyway. Right, let's just, oh, that's a better size. Okay, right. So the idea then is just to layer it up. Okay. I have no idea what this will look like. I'm going to neaten off the edges. Isn't it fun just to sort of play and just see, have a good experiment and see what happens? Right, and I'll just trim off the edges there again. So ideally, the one that I've seen, or the tutorial that I'm working to, says that it should be like the width of a of the pasta machine itself. So I'm going to thin it down again. So it's quite thick at the moment. So I'm going to thin it down by just running it through a thinner setting, sorry. Which, hey presto, does actually make it just about the same width as the pasta machine. Right, so the idea with this is to blend it into, or mould it into a squiggle. It's actually called a squiggle cane. And I liked the sort of the randomness of it. So I'm just trimming the edges again so that I can see. It may be that it's going to be too thin or too small or too something. Maybe it needs to be a bit more obvious. But one thing I've discovered with polymer clay is that you can start off with something that you think, oh, that looks awful. And then before you know it, you've actually got a really, really impressive thing. So the idea is that you just scrunch it up into a sort of a squiggle, right? I mean, it's really, it's quite, it's a lovely idea if it works. So it's to be sort of an uneven, and all of these lines and hoops and all the rest of it will actually form amazingly wonderful patterns at the other end. So I think I'll just turn that round at the end. Okay. To be honest, the translucent clay may not work terribly well, but I can see how, because the one that she did showed she had rainbow stripes along it, so it made an amazingly intricate rainbow shape. It was wonderful. Right, and now the idea is to shape this into a triangle. Now it's already sort of coming to a point here, so I'll go with the clay with that. And the other thing which you can do is also pad out. So I could have added like a plain tube log, sorry, of black or some other colour and make other interesting highlights. In fact, let's just do that. Let's just do that because I've got a couple of bits of clay lying around, so why not? I'm going to put in a turquoise highlight. This is what I like about polymer clay, is that you can just pick it up, come up with an idea, see what happens. Might not work out, but guaranteed once it's reduced down and put into a kaleidoscope sort of shape, it's actually going to look really, really quite nice. So I don't want to undo too much of this, but let's put a little log in up at the top and just see what happens. I'm going to shape it a little bit into a triangle, a very rough triangle. There we go. I'll just trim the edges. Now, actually, this is quite a good thing to do tonight because I have been wanting to do another polymer clay, another millefiori cane for, well, ages since since I did the last one, and I've just had so much else to do. Like I took, oh gosh, I had a two bagfuls of post went to the post office yesterday. That was all the overseas orders, so they're all gone now, which is wonderful, and I felt very happy once I'd done it. So I'm kind of working at least 12 hours a day at the moment, which is fine. I'm really not complaining, and there's no sympathy is needed or anything like that. I just I'm very happy doing it. In fact, look, that's the last of the purple polymer clay cane that I was using last time. What's it still doing out on my bench? Good question. But hey, let's put it to good use because it's got a nice contrasting colour. So actually, I'm just squishing it together, not trying to blend it at all, because the thing about using scrap clay and like the dag end of this cane is that when you cut it, it'll have different, or when you blend it and work it in together, it'll have a different slice through pattern everywhere, which is lovely. So you see I've got like sort of a highlight there. I think I'm going to put, I think I'm going to make a little channel at the bottom, and this will hopefully just fit in nicely there. There we go. And that I can see, that could be like a central point or something. We'll see. I mean, it's just, who knows? Who knows? Right, okay. Let's go with that. Let's see what happens. Right, so the idea is to turn it into a triangle. I think that's what I was trying to do, and I didn't really get very far because I was too busy distracting myself. So this is really just a case of pressing, pulling to, oh, I might be bumping the, not sure whether you can actually see that or not. All right. I think I'm bumping the table a bit too much, so forgive me if there's a little bit of shaking on the camera. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Moving on. Right, okay, so the idea now is to cut this in two. Now this would normally be on a larger scale from what she's saying, she's like, yeah, so we'll see. But I don't want to make, the pattern's got to be small because it's going to go on mice, of course. Right. Well, hey, look at that. Oh, don't you just love polymer clay? Now, the idea will be you can decide how you want to put it through. You see how the contrast works so well, and you can see the little dots of the colour that's come out really well. So it's just a question of deciding where I want them to go, really. I'm not sure, actually. They certainly, I mean, if I want them completely symmetrical, then I would probably keep the purple cane in the middle. Right, let's go with that, so that I'm not faffing around too much. And the idea now is I'm now reshaping it into a square. You see, so I've still got to sort of shift it into an upright position because it's a bit of a rhomboid at the moment. It's a bit of a diamond shape, but the clay is quite warm, and it's quite flexible as well. And translucent clay anyway is pretty soft. Right, that's not bad. This is so much fun. It's so exciting. Right. And then I pull it out. Okay, so we're into a square, very geometric design this. First attempt, I mean, I really want to do what you can use this to make like snowflakes, and it's just, I love the randomness of it, that you just basically squish this or fold the squiggle, fold the sheet of clay, the 3 sheets of clay into a squiggle, and then work from there. And I love that idea. Right, okay. So now I need to make sure this is, I'm now reducing it, keeping it within a square shape, So the pattern will stay exactly the same, it'll just get smaller. Again, just one of the amazing things with polymer clay. And I'm just pulling it gently, evenly throughout. Apologies, I've not been able to look at any of the comments so far, but basically I need to make it long enough to get cut into 4 equal parts and then reconstituted, put back together again. So I think I want to have it about 6 inches, which we're getting there. Yeah, that's not bad. Now, do I have, where's my little, I usually have a ruler kicking about somewhere, but I have my plastic cow ruler, which I've had since I was at school. This is not the one I usually use. All right, I'm up to 15. Okay, let's. You can kind of squish it back in, not in a very like, you can just do it a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. So I obviously don't know what 12 centimeters looks like, or 6 inches. Right, we're at 13. That's fine, because there's, at the end it all gets very mushy. So let's make sure that I get as clean an area. There's 12, there's 0, and now I want it 3 centimeters each, 3 to 6 to 9. All right, move the cows. Sorry, it looks as though I'm looking at the stream metrics again, and it looks as though it may well have been ducking out again. I do apologise about that. I don't know what to do about it, because I now have my Wi-Fi, and really, what else can I do? I'm not entirely sure, but fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Right, okay, so I've trimmed the ends, and this is where we get to see what the pattern looks like. Oh, look at that. Sorry, I'm too busy looking at it myself. This is lovely. I can see why bigger would probably be better, or maybe fewer folds. You know, I could make the pattern initially a bit less complicated. But I love that. That's just, this is going to be really, really smart. So I already am kind of thinking, how can I improve this? How can I make this so that the pattern is clearer? And I think it would be to make the clay a bit thicker and to have less squiggles in it, basically. Right, so now that I've chosen that pattern, so the idea will be to do the same again, is just, so I'm, by pushing them together and by pulling as I go, so I'm sort of preserving the design inside and lengthening it evenly, or trying to sort of reduce it evenly throughout. And I'm pulling it, slightly twisting it as well, which kind of helps to sort of elongate it as well. It's just it's a question of feel. I mean, I've not really made a huge amount of cane, so I've just come up with my own way of doing things, which is, you know, surprise, surprise. But oh, it's so exciting when you do open them and see what's there. But yeah, I can see how bigger would be better, particularly as I want to reduce it down much smaller than most polymer clay artists would, because I want it to go in a little 4-gram mouse, basically. But it's still going to look really good. I don't know how the translucent clay will bake, whether that'll actually make, I don't know what kind of effect that'll make, because some of the clay turns out quite dark, and obviously it's quite opaque as well. We'll see. Who knows? This really is just an experiment, because, well, I've been itching to do this for ages. And you see how there's like the lines of it. I'm using that almost as a guide, that turquoise, the turquoise lines, because if they're sort of straight, then I know that I'm doing quite a good job of keeping it pretty, you know, even, straight, and all the rest of it. Right, back to the cows. And it's the same thing again, and then I'll just slightly push it together, sort of undoing the last of the pools that I've done. Yeah, so it's about the same length as it was before, slightly less clay because I've cut off that as scrap clay, but that's okay. So again, it's just a question of topping and tailing it. Right, so there's 12, 9, 6, 3, 0. All right, cows ahoy. And this will be the last reduction that I do. I would make the slices once I have put this together. Right, okay, so it's pretty, gosh, I have no idea whether you can see that. Wow. Well, when I look at it without my glasses on, it looks pretty amazing. And you know what's astonishing actually is how clear the purple and the turquoise is. Given that they were just two tiny logs compared to everything else, they've actually come out pretty clear. So actually, I'm really quite happy with that. So just for the first experiment, I really don't know what you can see. I will have to take photos of it once I have reduced it down a bit more. Just not very much, but basically that's going to be, in fact, let me just, that's what I can do. I'm pressing again on either side just to gel the blocks together, but keeping the square shape as much as possible. Bear in mind, this was just a collection of scrap clay that I scraped off my bench and thought I would give a go. Now you can really see some of the mica effect, the glitter effect is coming through. It looks much better. It looks very grey actually, and that's probably the effect of the translucent clay. So I've lost a lot of the definition between the pale colours. So I think what I maybe should have done to begin with was actually to experiment with just plain colours instead of trying to sort of blend ones together. So maybe just had black and white, and just to see what that would have, you know, with maybe the odd accent colour like the turquoise and the purple, which works very well. But yeah, let me just trim off the end of that, because then you'll see, then you'll see the slice as it is. That's actually, I've no idea if you can see that. Probably not. Sorry, I can't. Oh, actually, I can scroll back up and see, because if I, yeah, oh, there we go. I can now see my camera, but that absolutely does nothing whatsoever. I need a light actually to shine on it properly. Actually, I wonder whether I can do that, if that makes a difference. I think, oh, yeah, is that, I don't know whether it's actually, it's a very subtle pattern. It looks really gorgeous, but it's obviously not really translating very well on camera. And yeah, so I'm thinking as well, actually, I love the little highlights of the turquoise and the purple. That would look better if they were bigger. And just, yeah, actually, I really like this. So this, right, I'll be making a mouse with it, obviously. Oh, it's 25 to 9, so I won't be doing it tonight. But yeah, I will catch up with all your comments. But yeah, well, hey, it's not as clear as the other ones that I've made, but I'm certainly aware of what I could do. The geometry that you get just by randomly pushing together bits of, scraps of clay. The brain wants to make patterns. It wants to see patterns everywhere. So that's why kaleidoscopes work so well. So actually, I am looking forward. In fact, have you got time? If I just do a very quick, let's see how much clay is this. I normally, because the sugar mice are, yeah, that'll do. The sugar mice are like 4 grams of clay. They're really tiny. But because I put slices of clay on top, I can't start off with a 4-gram clay, because 4 grams of scrap clay, because I'm adding more clay to it, if you like. Right, so that's just the dag end of the cane that I cut off. So this is, did I do this the last time? I'm not sure. I think I just made up the cane, didn't I? I didn't start cutting anything on it. Right, okay. Ideally, the clay should rest for a little bit before I start doing this, because it's quite soft. She was saying that in the tutorial, oh, I leave my canes to rest for a week. And I'm like, I don't have a week. Ain't nobody got time for that, for goodness sake. So, do you know, actually, this is like stained glass window. This is beautiful, actually. Um, so, what I'm trying to do is match up the edges as closely as I can. It will distort anyway, because I'm obviously trying to cover a circle with squares, which is, well, it's a trick if you can do it. But I can at least try and match up the turquoise splodges. There we go. It's nearly at the end, and actually I can just about piece them together. What I'll probably do is cut, oops, a very thin slice. Oh, itchy nose. I must be about to argue with somebody. I think that's the wife's tail, isn't it? So I'm just going to put that on so it sort of patches it up, basically. Right, and then one top and bottom. Yeah, it really is just a bit too soft, but I'm just an instant gratificationist. I do like to see how the patterns will actually turn out. There we go. Right, obviously when I do this properly, it will not be quite such a rush, because you've got to try and match up the edges as much as possible. But this is a great way for making beads as well, if anybody's into bead making. But obviously mice are where it's at for me. So there's going to be some, right, okay, that's a very quick covering and not going to be accurate at all. But what I'm going to do now, which will distort the clay, but it blends the seams, but I just want to have an idea of what it looks like as a mouse, because it's always good fun. And actually you can still see a lot of the pattern in there. Oh, it's so good. You know, it's just magic. And now the trick is to find out where to make the nose. So I want as many of the seams which are joining I want them at the bottom and tucked out of the way as much as possible. So that's probably as good a place as any. And now I'm just shaping the nose, which is a bit, this is how I make the sugar mice. Because I try and maintain it as they're as fat as possible, because they're much cuter when they're fatter. But with their nose as pointy as possible, but not too pointy. So it's basically a fat teardrop. Excellent. Oh, this is turning out rather well, actually. Now, as I say, the pattern is a little small, but close up it looks really quite good. So this is a very rough one. But yeah, that I think will work out quite well. And for the ears, just while I'm here, if you've got the time, I know, gosh. But Enrique's, he's at a council meeting tonight, so he's a parish councillor for our local council. I'm very proud of him, you know. He's a good egg. He does do his civic duty. Right, so now I need to the ears I just cut with quite a thick, that's a big lump, and then I'll reduce it down, I'll thin it with the pasta machine down to ear sized, which I pretty much judged that quite well, and then I will cut it with my cutter. There we go. Oh, and I just so happen to have a couple of glitter white. In fact, no, I want to do it pale pink. The camera gets in the way, do you know? So this is my inner ear clay that I keep it put in between plastic wrap when I'm not using it, so it doesn't get dusty or flobby, or I mean, I still go through, I still waste an awful lot of clay, but anyway, there we go. Put that on. Put that on. Yay. Right. Shall I finish off the mouse? I don't know. I don't know whether there's anybody else still watching or not, but I just want to finish him because I really like this. It's like stained glass window. That's what it looks like. And I know you won't be able to see that terribly clearly, but I'll post a picture obviously in the morning and you will see just how much like stained glass window it is. So dab of liquid clay for the nose. Now my paws are mucky because I've been working with dark clays. In fact, let me just give them a quick wipe. So I can keep the white clay or the beige clay as clean as possible, as best I can. All right, so just a little nub of clay for the nose, which I just pinch off with my fingernail. And that's nose on, and then I need eye holes. Oh, he's got a star in his forehead. That's really, I'm rather fond of this actually. And then 2mm beads rather than the usual 3 that I use for, or between, well, actually, I'm sure I've told you this before, but I order beads from India or China. I think it might be China. And I've been using the same company for years, probably since I started actually. And so I always ask them for beads between 2.5 and 2.7 mils in diameter. And yeah, they pretty much send me what I ask for. And I usually get a big, like 40 strands of beads, maybe every 4 years or something like that. It's amazing how long they last. Right, this is my 2mm beads. Just using my, what are they called? Blunt nose pliers? Bent nose pliers? I think bent nose pliers. There we go. Oh, it's got a bit of flob. Bit of a hair there. Right, and I've said this before as well, but the beads go away because I have counted them on more than one occasion and it's not fun picking them all up. Particularly not when your floor is as mucky as mine. Alright, so that's his eyes in. And then I use my ball shaper tool. Excellent. I've got a flower, basically a purple flower on the back, which works very well. So I love that this mouse has canes from other work. So it's had the stripy canes for the barrister trousers, and it's had the purple cane, which I made for the other sugar mice that I did, well, a month ago. Can't remember exactly when. So it's got a combination of both. It's got other bits from the sugar mice. The translucent clay that I've got, scraps of clay just lying around on the workbench. Let's just say it's very eco-friendly, this little mouse, this little cane. It's very good. All right, so, and you get to see me actually make a sugar mouse. This is very much speeded up. I am conscious I am now 15 minutes over. But I'm probably, given that it has been cutting out, I am sorry about that. I just wish I knew what to do to stop it. But anyway, and I'm a bit of a completist, so if I've started, I should finish. This is my extensor medium, which is getting very near the end, but I've started, so I'll finish. So yeah, I will just keep scraping out every last bit of it, but it does form. It's the best way of joining raw clay to raw clay. And one ear and another ear. Oh yeah, this is a cutie. He's a sweetheart. Oh wow. And then just carefully blending the clay so that all the ears stick, because it is quite a circle, well, round, rotund, shall we call him, then, and I've cut the ear straight, so it needs to bend to make sure that it's all the way round. I really like this wee mouse. He's a sweetheart. Well, and I'm just blending out his ears, and that will help stick the... There we go. Excellent. Oh, well, I've got to sign him now, and I've got to give him his tail, which is what I was doing before with the other ones. My goodness. All right, so that is Sugar Mouse tail-sized cutter. And what was I going to do? I was going to sign him. So here's one of my tiny now canes. When I started making my QC cane, goodness me, it was the size of my fist. It's lasted me for ages because I reduce it down so far. There we go. I really like this mouse. Did I say that already? Because he's a sweetheart. He's very posh, I have to say. Yeah, I can see how this would work. The black clay on outside would be good, or darker clays would be good on the outsides, and then a big thick band of paler clay would be in the middle sandwich. That would work out quite well, I think. Right. Oh, this is the trouble with not being able to see the comments actually, or the time. I'm sorry for going over so late. I hope you don't mind. But I'm just having too much fun. You know, and I've been in here since, you know, for like over 12 hours. But it's just too much fun. It's just too much fun. I really do love what I do. There we go. And now his little tail goes on. And for whatever reason, Sugar Mouse tails always go round to the right. So, there we go. We have a little Sugar Mouse, millefiori Sugar Mouse, all made, and he looks really pretty, and I can't wait to show you the cane properly in the morning when it's light. So I think that's me. I shall say goodbye. I shall love you and leave you, and with the little Sugar Mouse just there. Bless him. Yeah, I'll bake him in the morning along with all the other ones, and I shall see you in the morning. My goodness, the video's been going for 47 minutes. Sorry, and thank you for sticking with me, and I shall see you soon. Have a good evening wherever you are. All right, bye-bye.